Welcome to Business Sense. I am Ralph Rivas, and today's episode we have Amjad Saqib. He is a Pakistani microfinance pioneer who was recently honored as one of the 2021 Magsaysay awardees. Dr. Saqib, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be in your company. Thank you very much for invitation.
So tell us about your journey as a microfinance entrepreneur and how it helped the poor.
Let me in the beginning, explain that how it is interest-free and how it is sustainable despite being interest-free or zero interest model. Microfinance has three kinds of costs. Number one is the cost of capital. Number two is the cost of operations. And number three is the cost of default or inflation. So microfinance institution, to be sustainable, all these three costs should be recovered. And the conventional microfinance shift all these costs to the shoulders of a borrower. The cost of capital, which is generally around 10%, then the cost of operations, which is around 40%, and cost of inflation, or profit, or growth, or default, collectively, these are 3 to 4%. So when we combine all these costs, this becomes around 25 to 30, even 40%. So by definition, sustainability means that if the organization which gives the money as loan takes this 25 to 30% or 40% from the borrower. So this is the definition of sustainability. But in Ahmad, we think that the borrowers which we are dealing with are extremely poor and they should not be given, and they are unable to bear this extra cost of 25 to 30%. Number one. Number two reason is that in Islam, or for that matter in any religion, this cost of capital is not allowed. Number three, we think that to make the borrower economically active, even if he is able to pay the capital amount, that's good enough. So this is the three reasons that we thought that we should design a program which gives $100 and does not take back $110. That means covering other costs. So it should also only get back $100. So our definition of sustainability is that we are not, for example, if it is 30%, that we are not concerned with the $30, we are concerned with the $100. So this is which we call a benevolent loan or interest-free loan. That means we are giving $100, getting back $100, and all the other costs are not transferred to the borrower. What we have done, that we have created a pool of money which has around 200 million US. And this money has been collected as donations from the community, from the rich people, from the state, from other grants. So that means the cost of capital is zero. Now there only remains cost of operations and inflation and default. So we think that our donors should also bear that cost so that the ultimate user or the borrower gets whatever amount he or she returns the same amount. So the model is like this, that this pool of money which we have created is used to give loans, and the operational cost is also deducted from this fund. Now your question will be that if you are regularly deducting cost from this fund, so this fund will ultimately deplete. But our answer is that every year we find new donors, or even the previous donors give as they have given in the previous year. So this pool of money is not depleting, it is increasing. It started with few $100 and it has reached 200 million US dollars. So that is the evidence that our presumption is true. And as long as people will continue to give us, and as long as we are maintaining 99% recovery percentage, it means the product is viable, the concept is sustainable.
Now, I also want to ask about, well, you're really helping extremely poor individuals and families. Now, how many people are we talking about? And do you have targets in the next coming years on how many people you intend to help more through this model?
We have served around 4 million families because we give one loan to one family. But in Pakistan, at least 20 million families need financial services of similar kind. So our target is scaling from 4 million to 20 billion. So the task is huge, very monumental, and we have to continue this journey, and from 4 million to we have to reach 20 million. So we need
how do you intend to reach that from 4 million to 20 million? So I guess you need a bigger capital, right?
Yeah, obviously. We are in a continuous effort to increase our capital. So for that matter, we inspire the donors, the philanthropists, and the public sector, which means state of Pakistan, different provinces. So now this initial journey was difficult because there was nobody to believe in this model, as you have rightly put the question that who is bearing the cost. So the society is bearing the cost. So now people have started believing that this is a viable model, this is sustainable model, this can grow. So we are finding more and more donors with the passage of time, and hence, I told you the target is 20 million and we are at 4 million. Even if we reach 10 million, so at least we have reached 50% of our target, and then there are many other microfinance institutions as well. So maybe all of them put together can serve remaining 10 million.
Now, another issue that I want to talk about is collections and defaults, because in general, well, in the case here in the Philippines, and I guess in many other parts of the world, banks are quite hesitant to lend to poor people and communities because of the risk of a default. They're considered high risk. And I guess that's really an issue, especially in all parts of the world. So how were you able to address that? How were they able to pay up?
There are many reasons. Number one, right identification of the borrower. Number two, good appraisal. Number three, good relationship and engagement with the borrower. Number 4, viability of his or her project. Number 5, continuous monitoring. Number 6, it is a window of opportunity for him or her. Only one-time loan will not alleviate poverty. He would like to have next loan, third loan, fourth loan, which increases in size gradually. So just by taking one loan of $100, he would never like to default because he will not be eligible for the second loan, which may be $150. So this is a window of opportunity which a borrower never likes to shut. And another important reason is that people realize that this is such a wonderful avenue where an institution is giving us interest-free loan and establishing a bond of love and friendship with us. So if you engage people in a friendly way, then there is a trust and credibility and people don't deceive you.
For banks and financial institutions that are hesitant to lend to the poor, I ask you this, what are they missing out?
They don't trust the poor. This is the biggest mistake. You know, credit is a Latin word, Latin language word. It means trust. So you can't mistrust somebody when you give loan. So banks depend on physical collateral and we depend on social collateral. We don't start with misconceptions and doubts. We start with trust. So if you start trusting people, people will come up to your expectations. If you start doubting people, people will start deceiving you. This is very simple. You will reap, so you will sow. As you sow, so shall you reap. This is a age-old maxim that whatever you sow, you will reap that. So if you sow trust, integrity, you will reap trust and integrity and creditworthiness. So the basic, if you allow me to call it a mistake, so the basic mistake by conventional banks is that they, number 1, don't trust their borrower. Number 2, they don't want to give money to the poor. They want to deal corporate clients. You know, it is much easier to give 1 million to one person as compared to giving 1 million to 1,000 people. So this is a basic mindset. Banks are by definition a profit maximizing institution. Bank's objective is not poverty alleviation. Poverty alleviation may be a side unintended objective, but the basic purpose of the bank is to earn money for the shareholders, to maximize growth, to maximize profit. So there is nothing harm in it. But in parallel to the banks, we need to create an institution or many institutions who intend to do this financial inclusion for the purpose of poverty alleviation.
Now, with all those discussions, I want to know now, how did you start? How did you become inspired to do this? Out of everything that you've learned, you could have gone to many other companies, joined other businesses, but why this? Why did this become your passion?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question, and at the same time, a very simple question. Simple means everyone to do something valuable. Everybody wants to create value in society. So if you decide to open a school, if you decide to open a hospital, if you decide to help an orphan, if you decide to help an elderly, if you decide to help a special person, so you invest money and give them as a dole or as a charity. We decided that instead of doing all these things, because other people are doing this, why not to start a financial institution which gives loan so that people can start business and then have access to education, health, and other facilities. And then as I told you in the beginning, the reasons for high service cost. So we believed that these people should be given loans and only the capital should be recovered, because it is truly in consonance with the equitable, the principles of equity and the faith. And in the midst of this, a very brief event which I would like to narrate, that a poor lady asked me that if you give $100 to your sister, how much money will you take back? Will you get back $120? I said, no. If I give $100 to my sister who is in need of that money, I will give her and get back $100. So she said that, why don't you consider me as your sister? Give me $100 and I will return you $100. So that is an extension of humanity. We believe that every poor we should deal with is just like our brother and a sister, and we should help them in the same vein. So she got $100 and after 6 months she returned that. And we realized that just by giving $100, we have saved a family from abject poverty. She was happy.
And with that, thanks so much for your time, Dr. Amjad Saqib, founder of the Aquat Foundation, one of the largest MFIs in Pakistan, and 2021 Ramon Magsaysay awardee. And I'm Ralph Rivas. Thanks for watching.